side of our fears with your host ASOS. I am a lover of history, the unknown, and paranormal. Today we will be talking about, oh Lord, if I find it, because I just lost it. Today we're going to be getting personal, and we are going to be diving into why I'm so curious as I am about what's out there and understanding better my experiences while also hearing other people's experience. Because I think that when we hear other people's stories, we're able to understand ourselves and understand what we feel out there. Sometimes we are not crazy, because people, when you tell me, I've seen a ghost or I've heard this or that, they're like, you're absolutely insane. But when we share each other's stories, we can really validate each other and also really make sure that everybody feels like they're not alone and that they don't have to feel so isolated when it comes to experiencing paranormal or unexplained things or the unknown. So today I'm just going to really let you know all of my personal fears with scary stories of different things like closets, talking about why I really don't like chairs, dolls, elevators, attics, basements, the whole 9 yards of everything that I'm absolutely against because of the unknown and scary factors of these things. So let's dive in with closets. So I don't know if you guys are terrified of closets, but me personally, I refuse to sleep with a closet door open. I cannot stand them at all. It feels like you're just welcoming something in, or you're just staring at it at night and you're allowing your mind to run rampant and run wild, and you stare into there and you're just begging for something to be in there. And I mean, most kids are terrified of closets too. I mean, when we looked at Monsters Inc., they had monsters coming out of closets. Closets are very much known, as being something that a lot of little kids fear. And it's a fear that I still have as an adult. So my personal first negative experience came from my mom's house, where I got my own room for the first time. So I've shared a room with my siblings. There's 4 of us for years. I've never had my own room. It wasn't until I was about 11. And my first night sleeping alone, I had heard my name being called, so I thought it was my family. I called out yes, with my sister replying, no one called you. And I went, okay, whatever, I'm going to lay back down. I could be crazy. The voice called my name louder the second time, and I clearly knew it wasn't my sister, mom, or my brother. So I got up to check once again, and once I got up, the closet door is right by the bedroom door to get out, and where the light switch is too. As soon as I touched the handle, I just hear it scream my name. So I bolt out of there, and I asked everyone if they had heard that, which everybody of course replied no. And I sat there and I was like, I'm not crazy. I heard my name being called 3 times. I've been calling out to my family asking if it was them, and just nobody responded. And it was the creepiest voice I can still hear right now. And as I'm sitting in the dark, I'm like, oh no, why am I doing this to myself? And the next 2 stories come from an ex. But while I was spending the night with him on 2 separate occasions, so the first time, one of the times, that I spent the night with him, I was awoken by something in the corner of the room. Now, he had told me, and I kind of didn't believe him. He kept saying there's something that has followed me. There's something that is attached to me. And I was like, you know what? This dude is crazy. He can make up some wild things. So I was like, I don't believe it. But when I was woken up and I looked in the corner, there was just something there that was super unnerving to me. And it was just mocking me in the corner. And I remember I just sat up in the room staring at the corner, knowing that there was just something there that wasn't there with good intentions. And I remember just wanting to go back to sleep, but I couldn't because, again, it was just terrifying to me that there was just something there that I couldn't see. And it was right by the closet. And I remember seeing the closet door cracked open too, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I want that closet door closed so bad right now. Now the second time, he had just gotten done telling me about his mom's house, because now we're at his mom's house. And we go to lay down because we're like, we want a nap. It's like the middle of the day. We lay down to go take a nap, and the closet door is just wide open, right? And I kept hearing things from it. It kept waking me up from the nap. And one of the times that I heard a voice from the closet, his Xbox goes on that he had in that room, and like you could hear the CD player opening and closing to like let a little disc out and in. And I was just sitting there, and I was just like, this does not help after he just told me stories. So I was like, maybe my mind's playing tricks on me. But then at the same time, how can he explain, like, the Xbox turning on and off? I even tried to, like, go unplug it, and I was like, oh, no, he's going to get mad if I do that. So I was like, never mind, I'm not going to touch it. But, yeah, I don't trust closets simply enough. Like, if it's open, I'm unnerved, I'm bothered, I'm full of anxiety. So now, those are my stories of closets. Chairs. I'm going to move on to chairs. So I hate chairs, especially rocking chairs. So my dad had gotten my sister a rocking chair as a gift for her having a baby. And he had left it in my old, room. And I was like, Dad, why would you get a rocking chair? Those are the worst. Have you ever heard scary stories where they talk about the old lady that sits in the rocking chair and stares out the window? I was like, no, just me. Okay, I hate chairs. I hate the opened chairs when they face you and there's nothing in there and your mind can just sit there and wonder with chairs. I mean, so many people talk about how an empty chair in the middle of the room, they'll wake up in the middle of the night staring at it and they swear somebody is on that chair. I know that in Japanese culture too, they don't even like having like shoes face outwards because you're inviting someone to stand over you on the bed. I feel like it's the same way with chairs. You are purposely inviting somebody by sitting on that chair. You're giving them an open invitation, an open seat to like sit there and stare at you. So to me, I get very unnerved with a chair that just stares at me. Because I'm like, who's watching me? And why? Also, I have like really bad ADHD. I'm going to sidetrack for like 2 seconds. I'm going to like spin you around. Whee! I just realized I didn't mention another one of my fears. And I'll get to that one afterwards. But I realized I just remembered one. Woo! See, I'm running on fumes at the current moment. So anyways, back to chairs. So they just have this ability to mess with your mind. I grew up all the time where at my grandma's house especially, she would have like these chairs in her room sometime because at my grandma's house we'd have to sleep like all my siblings in one bedroom. So there's 3 of us for that one. And I just remember like I would get up sometimes at my grandma's house and I would just be like, somebody's here and it's not everybody else in the house. And I would always just get up at like random hours of the night at my grandma's house. And I would always like look at these chairs and I would be so hot and bothered by them that like sometimes my grandma would be like, you need to go to sleep. Like she would yell at me. She'd be like, you need to go to bed. Like you keep getting up and you keep staring at these chairs. She's like, you need to stop. And I'm like, Grandma, I can't sleep. This place is just, it's too much for me. I even remember at my brother's grandma's house too, there was this one time that I got up again at a random time at night. Like I always do because I'm bothered by something. I get up to go to the bathroom and she has like these creepy like bathrooms and like figurines and stuff. And I remember hearing something like move a chair and I went, yeah, I'm good. I'm out. So now I'm going to move to the one that just like popped up in my head, but you're going to be like, you're just going to go off script. I'm just, my ADHD is taking me somewhere else. And also it's 11:32 p.m. when I'm recording this. So we're just going to go off the rails for a second. So I just realized I did not mention mirrors. I hate mirrors. Can't stand them. I think that mirrors, especially if you talk to anybody like that does paranormal, or anybody that talks about anything spiritually, a lot of people will tell you mirrors are portals, they're openings, they allow things to come through them. I don't like mirrors at all, especially if you know this, they're like two-way mirrors, or they're mirrors that go the other way. There's so many videos on the internet where people will face away from the mirror, but the reflection in the mirror stays. Those bother me so much because I don't like sleeping in a room with mirrors. Like, if there is a room and I'm sleeping in it with mirrors, I will either cover it up, take it down, or I'll refuse to sleep in that room, because I really feel like that mirror is just a huge invitation to anything at all. Or if I wake up in the middle of the night like I always do, I get up and I stare in that mirror and there's something in there, or my reflection doesn't move with me, I know I'm not going to sleep for the rest of the night. So I don't want that around me. I don't even have any mirrors in my boyfriend's house. Like, sometimes I get mad because, like, there's no mirrors in the house. And, like, sometimes, like, oh, I want to know how I look with my outfit. But I don't know how people decorate their houses with mirrors. I could never do it. My mom had a big mirror in one of her, I forgot where it was in the house. She has a big mirror one time. And I just remember always seeing something like in the corner of it, and I would always be like, oh, my mind's playing tricks on me, I'm dumb, I always have big anxiety, but it would just be so constant, and I would always stare at it too whenever I would be watching TV, because I know she had it kind of near where the TV was, and I would just stare at it for hours, and I would never ever be able to explain to anybody why I would want to stare at it, but I had like this deep desire that I needed to stare at it, because if I stared at it long enough, the reason why I'm staring at it would pop up. So my next thing about mirrors is my dad got one. He didn't buy it, sorry. He got it from my great-grandmother. And it's a beautiful mirror. So when my great-grandma passed away, it was kind of like free real estate. Everybody got to essentially pick and choose what they wanted to keep from my great-grandmother's house. And my dad chose this mirror. My dad was like, this is a beautiful mirror. I remember she had it in her living room. And, I mean, it's a nice mirror. I never had a problem with that mirror until my dad took it into his house. When he took it into his house, I remember my dad went, like, pale. Like, my dad is military. He's very much like, no shits, no giggles, no nothing. Like, I'll tell my dad, like, oh, I saw this or I saw that. You know what I mean? Like, my normal kind of weird mind. And my dad would be like, no. But my dad stopped dead in his tracks while everybody's trying to talk to him about the mirror and, you know, apologize for my great-grandma passing away. And my dad just stands there. My dad goes, Grandma's over there. And I was like, Grandma's over there? I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, Grandma's over there in the mirror. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, hell no. If he thinks I'm sleeping in this house with that mirror, he has another thing coming to him. And he starts crying. Like, my dad doesn't cry either, okay? My dad is military. He don't cry, okay? Like, he's very much the military mindset. You don't cry. My dad starts crying. He goes, Grandma's there. Grandma's in the mirror. And I'm like, no. I'm like, Dad, no. So now whenever I look at that mirror, I think of that moment of my dad seeing his grandmother in the mirror. He's like, I know that's her. She's short, her hair, every feature of her. She's standing there in the mirror. And he's just crying because he loved her so much. And I was just like, oh, God, no. Terrified. So now whenever I look at that mirror, I'm like, oh, Grandma, are you there? I don't know. So I hate mirrors. I absolutely cannot stand them. Sometimes when I even stare at my own reflection, I'm like, am I going to see something? Am I not going to like my reflection because something's going to happen? I refuse to decorate my house with mirrors. I don't know how anybody does it. If you decorate your house with mirrors, like you have mirrors in every room, good on you. I applaud you for your bravery, because I will not. Will not be me. Nope, no thank you. Now I'm gonna go to my next. Hell no. If you think that I'm sitting here bugging out about mirrors, let me tell you my next biggest fear that I refuse to have in my household. Like, my boyfriend will never buy me one of these, and if he does, I will apologize for him wasting his money. No, I don't do dolls. I don't know who does do dolls, but I don't. Porcelain dolls, those like stuffed realistic dolls. I don't even do stuffed animals that much. So it's funny because I have stuffed animals and I own a lot of stuffed animals, but I barely even do stuffed animals. Like, if I don't like a stuffed animal because it's giving me off the bad vibes, the bad energy, I will toss it. I don't even care. I'm just like, no, thank you. I just hate how they look so realistic. And this fear came before I've seen any of those horror movies. Before the Annabelle, the Chucky, all those scary movies, this fear came before it. This fear's been there since I was a toddler. So when I was a toddler, my sisters share a story of when we lived in Marfa, Texas. We had this big, beautiful house where we lived in a room all together. Like I said, I've always shared a room with my siblings, always, and we had bunk beds in this room. Well, we had a lot of toys and a lot of stuffed animals and a lot of dolls and everything like that. Well, one day my sister said that she woke up and she saw our dolls. So inside the house, they had like this hot tub. And I remember that hot tub, like it's white stoned and everything. That's the only memory I have from that. But she said all of them were sitting around there, kind of like a meeting. And my sister swears that she saw them move and get up and everything like that. So I kind of remember that because I just remember that weird hot tub thing that was in the house. I just remember how creepy and scary that was. So I think that was really where my fear kind of started to grow with dolls. The next one is my mom. She told me of how she lived in Mexico. So my mom is from Mexico. And she told me of how she lived in this room where it was full of dolls. Like, I'm talking about each shelf had a porcelain or a different type of doll in that room. Now, my mom's house that she lived in Mexico was ransacked by conquistadors, like way back in the day. So it's not the original building where the conquistadors did this, but it's on the land where the conquistadors was. So the way that my mom told me that the legend goes is that, you know how the Spanish conquistadors were looking for treasure? Well, they were led to that area being told that there was gold buried underneath that house. So they, to this day, are still looking for it through the house. My mom said that late at night, while she would hear the dolls move around, she would also hear somebody ransacking the kitchen because they're looking for the gold. Now again, it's all new buildings and everything like that in that area, but the land is still kind of tainted from the conquistadors searching for that gold. So my mom always told me that she doesn't do dolls either because of that room and because of her experiences back in Mexico. So my next story is I had this counselor in elementary school. I was always sent to the counseling office, and she was brave. She had a room full of like the Raggedy dolls. Now, she didn't just have a room full of Raggedy dolls. She had another back room full of more dolls. I was like, this chick is crazy. I remember that I would leave her office, like, bothered. Like, I was, like, heavy with, like, negative, oppressed energy. I would leave there just fearful of these dolls. And I would have images of them flashing through my head, of them running around the hallways when nobody's there late at night. And there was one that always creeps me out the most. I just always sat there and thought to myself, how does she have these and she's not bothered? Because I can tell you that there is one that is for sure moving around when she's not even looking or noticing that it's moving around, because that one just gave off the most like ugliest vibe and feeling. Like I was just like, what is wrong with this lady? And she gave me attitude too. I will not lie to you at all. Now, my last story is going to be about how in high school I went to like kind of like a garage sale, kind of not a garage sale, because like here in El Paso we have a lot of people where it's kind of like the Mexico style, where like street vendors will like just sell stuff on like the side of the road or like in parking lots, kind of like a farmer's market too, but it's not really one. And there was this one time that I saw these people selling a bunch of stuffed animals. And again, I don't mind stuffed animals. I have no problem with stuffed animals until they give me a reason to be upset with them. Because to me, I lump them in with dolls. So I bought them. And I think it was about like 10 of them. And I was so happy and I was so excited because I got a good deal on them. Well, when I took them home, this was the first time that I've ever experienced sleep paralysis. I've never had sleep paralysis prior to bringing those stuffed animals into the house. Now, granted, my dad's house is haunted, but I've never had that type of issue. You know what I mean? Oh my god, there's a bug on my laptop. I've never had any issues. So as soon as I brought them in, I began to not be able to breathe late at night. I was feeling like somebody was choking me, everything. I would wake up, go back to sleep, feel like I was up, not up. The sleep paralysis was just so bad. Until one night, all the stuffed animals are on my chest, and I can't breathe. And I had my final straw with them because I was just like, I'm not able to sleep. I'm fearful every single night. I'm having nightmares, sleep paralysis. I can tell that these things are just awful. And what had happened one night was my friend stayed over, and I was already on my last straw with these dolls. And after I woke up with those dolls on there, I had remembered seeing this flashing light go off and on and off and on. And my friend's sleeping next to me, so I'm wondering how she's not experiencing this. But she wakes up the next day and goes, my phone is dead. Like, I can't turn my phone on. It's not working. I don't understand what's going on. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore with these stuff. I threw them out. I cleansed myself of them. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't. I can't do it no more because it's too much. Just too much. So that's it for why I don't like dolls. I can give you plenty more reasons why, but I'm going to leave it there for you, and I'm going to let you be the old judge of dolls. Now the next one, I'm going to go to showers, and you're going to be like, why the f are you scared of showers? Listen, I used to love showering. Like, I was such a weird little kid where, like, I would beg to shower. I'll be like, I love bath time. I love showering. Like, up until 5, oh my god, the air turned off and now it's creepy in here. Oh my god. This is creepy, Winston. Okay, anyways, bad vibes. Showers. I loved them until I was 5. After I was 5, okay, I accidentally watched the old It. Do you guys all know the old It? Like the original It movie. The shower scene. Oh, that's the scene I walked in on, okay, as a 5-year-old. So my sister and me were not allowed to watch the movie for obvious reasons. But my older sister was, because she was old enough to watch that movie. Well, me and my other sister decided to walk in because we're dumb and we're stupid and we're a little bit of rebellious children. And we walked into my sister watching the movie, and I just remember being jaw dropped. Like, I can still visually remember the scenes that I saw that terrified me. I became scared of clowns that day, and I was scared of showers that day. Like, literally those two things, I was just like, oh god, no. And, you know, sometimes when I hear things in the drain, oh man, I'm so scared of, like, sewer drains and shower drains. I'm just like, oh, no, what if somebody comes out of the shower drain? Or what if something comes out of the shower drain? Like, that's just terrifying to me. But, okay, my biggest fear of showers, though, is, like, somebody walking in on you or somebody messing with you on the shower. And I've had it happen to me before, but I think the scariest moment ever. So, my boyfriend's house isn't really haunted, but it has like these weird things that like happen every now and then that you're like, what the what's that? You know, like again, like you don't get the sense that it's haunted, you just get a sense that every now and then something unexplained will happen. And you can't even say it's a ghost. You just sit there and go, what the was that? I mean, it's a weird house. I mean, I feel like everybody's house is like that. So this one day I'm showering and I keep hearing him because I know he's in the house, and I keep hearing him, and I keep calling out to him. I'm like, where are you? Blah, blah, blah. Are you bothering me? And, you know, before I even got in the shower, I checked to see if he was in the room because I kept hearing him, and I know it's not the dogs. I'm like, I know it has to be him. I didn't see him, so I was like, okay, whatever. I was like getting really annoyed, so I started showering, and I keep hearing somebody. I'm like, I keep calling out to him. I'm like, where are you? Stop messing with me. This isn't funny. I'm getting irritated. And then the noise stops, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't hear the bathroom door open. I don't hear anybody coming into the shower, but the shower curtain gets hit. Kind of not too hard, not too bad, just like a light tap. And I'm like, hello? You know what I mean? Like, I literally was like, hello? Is anybody there? Nothing. Silence. Cool. Keep showering. Whatever. It does it again. And I'm like, excuse me? Hello? I know the door's not open, but who's there? And I keep checking, and there's like nobody there. My final straw was on the third time. It completely like smacked the shower curtain into me. And I was just like, there is something in here that just is pissed off at me or mad. I was shook to my core. I literally like drenched in water. Okay, I had to walk from, you know, the bathroom in the master bedroom all the way to my boyfriend's like office, soaking wet. I didn't even dry myself off. I just went to him and I was like, I'm terrified right now. Like, somebody just messed with me in the bathroom. And he's checking the whole house. He's like, Aisha, there's nobody there. And I'm like, I swear up and down, somebody just smacked the shower curtain into me. And I felt that, you know, weight of somebody's hand just going whoosh onto the shower curtain. I'm not crazy. And he's like, you're always hearing things. You're always scaring me. I can't do this right now. And I'm just there like scared. I'm still scared. Like, sometimes when I go back into that shower, I'm still reliving that moment. And I'm just still awfully terrified, okay? I'm done with showers. I don't like them. I don't do it. I mean, I shower, okay? I'm a very clean person, but I do it against my will to where I'm just shaking in the shower and always checking my surroundings 24/7, okay? So I'm done with showers. I don't want to talk about it no more. Traumatized. Okay, now I'm going to go into the two biggest fears. If you tell me you are not terrified of these two things, you are a liar, or you're mentally ill, or all the above, okay? Everybody is terrified of these two. It's a common thing for a good reason. Attics. My boyfriend even agrees with me. We don't do attics. So my boyfriend, right now we were driving back from Scary Stories in the park, which by the way was like a 10 out of 10. I love the idea of going to a park with random strangers and just telling each other ghost stories. It was amazing. That's like the point. We were driving home and he starts talking about the attic stories that we were sharing at this park meetup, and he goes, you know, I really agree with everybody. I don't do attics. When I was house hunting, some of these houses had attics, and the location of the attics were just odd. And I agree. I don't get why people make attics, like the access to them, in such uncomfortable places. Like, he told me that one of the houses that he was house hunting in had it in the middle of a hallway. No, not a hallway. That's way too common. No, it was in the middle of a dining room. I'm so sorry. I almost forgot this story. Even though he told me like 2 seconds ago. It's my ADHD kicking in. He told me it was like in the middle of a dining room. But he said, you can't even tell it's a dining room, because he said this house was like a maze, and it was really weirdly constructed. So when he saw that, like, you pull it down into the attic and you go up in there, I'm losing my train of thought to talk on this story. He saw it there, and he's like, there's an attic right here. He was like, yeah, that's the nail in the coffin. Like, I'm getting bad vibes all over the place, and then I'm seeing this random string in the middle of nowhere. I'm not doing it. He was like, I'm out. And I'm like, smart. Because had you bought that house, I would not live with you. I would not move in with you. I would be like, I'm good, dude. I'm very much good. And he's like, yeah, if I would have bought that house, you wouldn't even step foot in the house. I was like, no. From the story you told me, no. So yeah, I don't do attics. So let me tell you, oh wait, no, hold on. See, losing my train of thought. People find scary shit in attics, okay? You know, people just tell you about attics and you're like, fuck that shit. Excuse my language. Oops, cussed. This is why I don't put it for children. I'm not safe for children. What the fuck is that? I think that's Winston. Yeah, that's Winston. Anyways, okay, so my first story about an attic that I hate. My mom bought this beautiful house out in El Paso, Texas, because that's where I live. And the attic was thankfully in the garage, so I didn't give a shit. I was like, that's fine with me. It's locked up. It's away from me. I don't care. The first ghost I ever saw was in that house. So my whole family's downstairs. We're having a conversation. I'm like, I want to go in my room. I don't like any of the people. I was a teenager. So I was like, I don't care for anybody here. I go upstairs. As I'm like almost to the top, I see this figure run into my mom's room. And my mom's room is basically, you see her room, and then in the back wall is the access to the attic. But I mean, there's really no access to the attic, but it's basically adjacent to the attic. I see it run in there and go into the closet. And in the closet again is where the attic is. So then I'm just sitting there like jaw dropped. And I'm like, did I really see what also Winston just ran in here? Like a little scary bitch that he is while I'm telling a fucking scary story. And I'm like, you are a son of a bitch. And he's staring at me fucking creepily too. Like, this dog is messing with me right now. Are you messing with me? God, this dog. Anyways, and I see it run in there. I'm jaw dropped. I run back downstairs. I tell my mom. My mom's like, you're full of shit. Fine, whatever. When you tell people that you saw a ghost, most of them are like, you're full of shit. She didn't believe me until her friend said, hey, you know your house is haunted? My mom goes, what do you mean? She said, I saw someone in your closet. Again, the closet's where the attic is. She said, I saw someone in your closet and they went into the attic. And she said, there is something here. And my mom was just like, okay, believe you now. There's something that is in that attic. There is a ghost. There's something. Even to this day, she will talk about it and she will mention that ghost that lives in that attic. And it's an empty attic too. I don't know. I keep saying closet. It's an empty attic. Like, we never put anything in there. Nothing. We never went in there. We never messed with it. It was just sitting empty. So the fact that something was there just blew my mind, because that is such a terrifying place. The next story I have, let's switch gears now to my dad's house. All parents are divorced. Don't lie to me. If your parents are together, good for you. Mine are not. So at my dad's house, my dad bought a house too, and he was super proud of it because he's like, this is my house, I own it, and it had an attic. And I said, Dad, you're killing me. You're killing me. I hate attics. I will never buy a house that has an attic. If I do it, it's only because the kitchen is amazing and you can't get that kitchen anywhere else. Other than that, no. So anyways, so my dad buys this beautiful, beautiful house, right? It's gorgeous, but it has an attic. So the attic has these two doors that open into, I don't even know what, okay? There's just two little doors, and then downstairs, underneath the stairs, it's the same thing. It's the most creepiest thing on this planet Earth, okay? Well, we had the house blessed, so my dad's thinking everything's cool, everything's alright in the house. Well, we've had cats, 2 dogs, and all the animals we've ever had in that house will sit a good, I want to say 700 feet away from that door. Like, it's from like one part of the hallway to the next where they're just staring at the door. They'll sit there and they'll growl, like a low growl, and they'll stare at it terrified. Like, you see the fear in these animals' eyes over that attic. And I was like, same. But, like, why you guys bug it out? Because I hate it, but I don't have no reason to hate it. So what's your reason for hating it? So that's how I knew the attic could not be trusted, because the animals just would not go near it at all. Or my dog got brave enough to go near there, but then he ran away from there. Like, he got the bravery to go close to the door. It was the first time ever he did it. He's like, I'm going to be brave. I'm not going to be a chicken. I'm going to go check out what's up with that door because I'm terrified of it. He went there. He sniffed it one time and ran away yelping. And I was just like, yeah, the attic is no bueno. So I have several stories about the attic besides the animals. So the first one is, one night my dad left me home alone. I mean, come on, I was like 17 years old. I'm fine to be by myself. So my dad leaves me home by myself, and he goes out of town for the weekend. And I start hearing singing, like a little girl singing upstairs. And I'm like, nobody's home. I'm the only one here. My sisters are in college. I'm here by myself. So I call my dad and I'm like, hey, can you, like, listen to this? Like, the TV's off. Do you hear any singing? My dad got so freaked out. My dad was like, you need to go hide. I'm going to call someone over there to go check out the house. We bring somebody over to the house, and they find nothing. But I swear, like, I'm on the phone with my dad. I'm like, do you hear that little girl singing? And whenever we invite people over, so the upstairs is open. Where the attic is at. It's an open space. You can see upstairs into, it's like a loft. And anytime we invite anybody over, they'll stare up there and they'll go, is someone up there? It's happened so many times where we'll just be sitting there in the living room, mind your own business, watching TV, and people will stare up there and they'll go, who's up there? There's a black figure up there. Never fails. I don't know any guest that has not come over to my dad's house and stared up there at that attic and has not seen a black figure or said somebody's up there without really justifying what's up there. And my dad even called me one day and said, I think it's back. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I'm sitting here and the TV keeps turning on and off by itself. I took out the batteries and the TV's going on and off and on and off. And I'm getting really scared because I can hear somebody in the attic. And I'm just like, yeah, Dad, I don't do attics. I don't do attics. No. The next one, let's breathe. After all those attic stories, I'm so terrified right now. My boyfriend's not home. Oh, God. Okay. I don't know how I do this to myself. Anyways, the next one that everybody agrees that they hate is basements. Basements, I feel like they're so large and open for no reason. They have rooms down there. They have hidden things down there. I don't get how people make basements and go, yeah, I'll put like a secret room back here, a tunnel here, this there, that there. What's the purpose? Why? It's the creepiest, most unnerving thing ever. Like, I have so many questions when I look at a basement. Why do they hold so many secrets? Why do they have to mess with your mind? Why does every scary movie have basements? Like, I can't do it. So anyways, I'm going to tell you not my personal story, but a story that goes around El Paso all the time. So in El Paso, there's a lot of tunnels. And in our most notorious high school, that's known for being the Lady on the Hill, the most beautiful football stadium, the most haunted high school in El Paso and also the United States, it has tunnels and a basement. So the tunnels and the basement are together. And the school served the KKK back in the 1920s, 1919. And it is the oldest high school that we have. But down in the basement in the tunnels, it had also served as the morgue during the influenza plague. It really struck El Paso really hard, and it served as the overflow for all these bodies that really had nowhere else to go. So one time somebody was down there exploring the tunnels in the basement, and they had found a false wall, and they went ahead and opened it up and found an empty classroom with all its furniture, all of its supplies. students' notebooks left there, books left there, chalk there. It's just an empty, abandoned room, and there are so many rumors and questions as to why this was. And that is my biggest reason as why I don't do basements. I feel like there's too much potential for them to find creepy things. You know what I mean? Like, it's too open for the imagination, too much for curious minds to allow you to roam. So, because I don't really have any personal stories about basements, because thank God I've never lived in a home with a basement. Thank God. So no, don't do them. Now, we're going to go to elevators. So my fear with elevators is you're going to drop down to your death. It will open and lead to another location, or they will malfunction with the lights flickering and you're just there in a horror movie. So recently, I went to Dallas, Texas, and I went on a work trip, and I was in the elevator. There's no one around. There's nobody anywhere. I hear my coworker, who was not at the hotel. She was at a bar with some of my other coworkers, because they were having like a social event. And I text her, and I'm like, hey, are you back at the hotel? I didn't know. I'm going downstairs to the bar. Do you want to hang out? Do you want to go? Let me know. My phone wasn't working. My phone stopped working. The message didn't go through, but I swear I heard her voice. The elevator goes down, and it wasn't until the door opened that my phone sent the message, and then I get a message back from her saying, I'm barely heading back to the hotel. And I sat there, and I was just like, yeah, this is why I don't do elevators. I have a huge panic attack in elevators. I can't stand them. I feel like they're like boxes of claustrophobia and like too much potential and room to like traumatize you for the rest of your life. I can't stand them. So my last story is outside open spaces. So my dad bought a cabin in New Mexico, and we're like super excited about it. Like we were happy about it. We love it, but it gives off spooky vibes. So it's like this vast open land of like nothing, right? It's welcoming to fill that open space. You get energy from anywhere. It has nowhere to go. So you really feel that energy everywhere. So this cabin has a bunch of like empty cabins and abandoned cabins and decaying cabins all around it. So I'm going to share a picture with you guys here where I went to go try to take pictures. It's fully light outside, okay? It's the daytime. I'm trying to take pictures of all of... Oh my God, did you see that? That was so creepy. Did you see what went through the screen right now? I'm so glad I'm almost done. I'm going to go run and go hide right now. Oh my God, something just went through the screen. Okay. There's nothing here. Winston, there's nothing here, right? Where are you? Where the fuck is the dogs? Oh God. Okay, anyways. So there's a bunch of, so it's during the day. I'm trying to take pictures because it's super fall outside. Like it's gorgeous. So I live in the desert, right? I don't get any trees. I don't get a fall vibe. Nothing. So we're out there, and I see all the leaves, and I see like the picturesque fall vision that everybody gets. And I'm like, I don't get this in El Paso, and I'm like crying, taking pictures. But every photo I took had this green hue in it. Like I wasn't even trying to make the photo scary. Like there's no filter on these photos. Like they're unedited. They have this green hue on them. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So his cabin, I don't think it's haunted. I just think that it gives cabin in the woods vibes. It gives like super creepy, weird vibes. So thank you so much for listening. I'm going to try to get my California video out next week. I've just been traveling, working. It's all eating up my time. Like I literally told my boyfriend I'm sick and tired of traveling, but then I'm going to go to Phoenix, hopefully. Hopefully I'm going to go to Phoenix. I beg I go to Phoenix. Please let me go to Phoenix. But please share your fears, your stories, or anything that I mentioned in the comments. This has been The Other Side, hosted by ASOS. And I hope that we caught whatever went through the camera screen right now, because I swear I saw it. But thank you again. It's always a pleasure. I hope that I just let everybody escape to another realm.